Cornelius Coleman. I presently am employed with Tulsa Public School District, and I have been assigned to McLean Senior High School. My subject matter is Rett syndrome. Rett syndrome is a neurological developmental disorder that affects girls almost exclusively. It is characterized by normal early growth and a slowing of that development, with the loss of personal usefulness of hands. The disorder was identified initially by Dr. Andreas Rett, an Austrian physician who first described it in a journal article in 1966. It was not until after a second article about the disorder published in 1983 by Swedish researcher Dr. Hagberg that the disorder was generally recognized. The course of Rett syndrome, including the age of onset and severity of symptoms, varies from child to child. Children with Rett syndrome often exhibit autistic-like behavior in the early stages. Other symptoms may include walking on toes, sleeping problems, hyperventilation, apnea, and air swallowing. What are the stages of the disorder? Stage 1, called early onset, typically begins between the ages of 6 and 18 months. Stage 2, the rapid destructive age stage, usually begins between ages 1 and 4 and may last for weeks or months. Some girls also display autistic-like symptoms such as a loss of social interaction and communication. Stage 3, or the plateau or pseudo-stationary stage, usually begins between ages 2 and 10 and can last for years. Apraxia, motor problems, and seizures are prominent during this stage. Stage 4, or the late motor deterioration stage, can last for years or decades. Prominent features include reduced mobility, scoliosis, and muscle weakness. Nearly all cases of Rett syndrome are caused by a mutation in the pronounced MECP2 gene. And everyone who has a MECP2 gene has Rett syndrome. Is Rett syndrome inherited? Although Rett syndrome is a genetic disorder, less than 1% of recorded cases are inherited or passed from one generation to the next. Most cases are spontaneous, which means the mutation occurs randomly. Who gets Rett syndrome? Rett syndrome is estimated to affect from 10 to 15,000 live female births and in all racial and ethnic groups worldwide. Prenatal testing is available for families with an affected daughter who has been identified with the MECP2 gene. Genetic testing is also available for sisters of girls with Rett syndrome. The MECP2 gene is found on a person's X chromosome, one of the 2 sex chromosomes. Girls have 2 X chromosomes. How is Rett syndrome diagnosed? Doctors clinically diagnose Rett syndrome by observing signs and symptoms during the child's early growth and development and conducting ongoing evaluation of the child's physical and neurological status. Is treatment available? There is no cure for Rett syndrome. Treatment for the disorder is symptomatic, focusing on the management of symptoms. What is the outlook for those with Rett syndrome? Despite the difficulties with symptoms, many individuals with Rett syndrome continue to live well into the middle ages and beyond. Because the disorder is rare, little is known about long-term prognosis and life expectancy. What research is being done? With the federal government, the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute for Child Health and Human Development, the National Institute of Mental Health, and the Office of Rare Diseases Research, ORDR, support clinical and basic research on Rett syndrome. In conclusion, where can I get more information? You can get more information from the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development, Rett Syndrome Research Trust, National Institute of Mental Health, Easter Seals, and the Office of Rare Disease. In closing, my name is Cornelius Coleman. I am presently employed at McLean Senior High School. Thank you.